So in the last 18 months, there are transactions in the market, but they've been mainly focused on value add and core plus. But what's really interesting, maybe in the last 2 months, we're seeing a lot more core transactions, a lot more sellers accepting prices, and a lot more buyers in the market. Interestingly, new entrants into the market, but also even this week, we're seeing a lot of mega deals happening, more in the M&A sector. We don't really necessarily see that translating into in-the-ground sort of transactions or yield changes. What it definitely shows is a sentiment in the market. And I mentioned there about core yields. Before there were multiple different transactions, people and valuers were making assumptions on what the yields were across different sectors of the market. And there are now hard data points to show that actually the valuers were correct. Yields are stabilizing. There may be some increased competition to deploy capital towards the end of the year. It may be in certain specific markets. So we're definitely seeing a divergence in the occupier market, split into those core markets and those maybe uncore markets that maybe are not directly in the center of gravity for some logistics occupiers. In the core markets, we're seeing rental growth continuing, maybe not at the high levels that we saw during the Corona times, but they're still moderate, definitely higher than they were pre-Corona. Increased competition from tenants, and there's a stark contrast maybe to markets that have maybe some legacy oversupply, supply that was delivered speculatively during the boom phase, where landlords and developers are maybe under a little bit of pressure. I wouldn't say that maybe rents are falling. I think maybe landlords and developers are going to be a bit more aggressive, firstly within the incentive packages to the tenants. But I think one always needs to bear in mind that rents are only a small proportion of the cost to many of the occupiers. And the focus really of a lot of occupiers that we've spoken to is more about transportation costs and accessibility to labor. And these actually are two boxes that are very easily ticked in some of the core markets as opposed to the non-core markets.